All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Professional Women's Association of Rome. My name is Gertie Farrell, PWA President. Roughly 6 months ago, PWA Board of Directors committed themselves to serve this association, and most especially our members, existing and potential members. Facing an unprecedented challenge, we knew everyone is impacted in some way and are facing and experiencing varying degrees of pain and vulnerability. So we promise ourselves that in order to be the best professional women's association in Rome, we would like to serve both men and women. And my promise to you is that PWA will continue to provide its members with three things that we've always been known for: connection, education, and support. Connection because we need each other now more than ever. So PWA Board and I will continue to reimagine creative ways to keep us all connected. We will continue to encourage you camaraderie with a networking connection opportunities. And of course, as our social director inviting you, you will be receiving an invite for December 16 for a special Christmas event, even though it's going to be virtual, but we will be all together to create a convivial occasion to be together. Second is education. PWA remains dedicated to providing cutting-edge professional e-conferences, and most especially this B.O.L.D program, to build opportunities through learning and development and help you continue advancing your career. We will offer a variety of programs that are relevant to you and designed and meet you where you are, both in your professional and personal life. Support. We will continue to be a place of support. I know we are in a virtual world, but you will be supported throughout the year by me and the most incredible board you've elected since May 2020. Moreover, PWA will actively promote gender equity, career and leadership development, engage in institutional dialogue, standing with other 52 women institutional associations together to reduce the employment gap between men and women, most especially after the mass of COVID-19. So we understood that LinkedIn is a community of business, brands, and most importantly, human beings. So let's make the best out of it. I would like to introduce you tonight our Professional Development Director, Christina Sharat, to present you our most special guest, Melanie. Christina?
Thank you. Thank you so much, Kelly. For me, it's a real pleasure to have such an amazing host like we have now, Melanie, who is an empowerment coach, a professional resume writer, and an amazing lady who will guide us through how to make the most out of our LinkedIn profile and usage. And she's also a LinkedIn strategist and a personal branding expert. So welcome, Melanie, and it's over to you. It's a real pleasure to host you, and thank you very much again for accepting our invitation.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here. I can feel the excitement, so I'm ready. We have a lot to cover, so I'm ready. Okay, so let me share my screen. All right, can everyone see this, the presentation? Perfect. Okay, so again, thank you so much. I'm excited to be here. I've never presented to a group in Rome before. I'm in sunny Central Florida, and it's quite warm where I am. So it's always sunny here. But to know that I can reach people across the world is very humbling to me. And I really appreciate Christina reaching out and asking me to be here today to talk to you about one of the things I love, which is LinkedIn. So hopefully this is going to be helpful for you. Hopefully you'll get some value out of this, because I do plan to dig a little deep and really cover a lot when it comes to LinkedIn. Okay, so let's do it. So the first thing I want to talk about is why are we even talking about LinkedIn? Why is LinkedIn important? Why am I here, right? Why do we have this time reserved just to speak about LinkedIn, right? And I know that right now there's a lot going on all over the world. The pandemic has definitely did a lot of damage to our economies, right, and to our workforces and all of those things. And I want you to go into this training today with the mindset of understanding that there are still countless opportunities out there. It may seem like doom and gloom because things are shutting down, businesses are going out of business. At the same time, though, I challenge you to look for new opportunities, right? Because when one thing kind of shuts down, it emerges into something different. And I think if we come into, if we take that perspective in life in general and with our careers, we'll have a more positive outlook, and that will impact our actual results, right? And so I'm here to tell you that there are still job opportunities out there. I'm here to tell you that there are people that are still hiring. People are still getting raises. People are still getting promoted. And so, let's not come with a sense of hopelessness, but let's come with hope and excitement for what's new and what's to come next. So I just wanted to preface it with that. So LinkedIn is going to have so many opportunities for you. There's 700 million profiles on a global scale on LinkedIn, right? 700 million, and that number is growing at a rate of 2 new profiles per second all over the world. There's about 310 million that are active every single month on the site, okay? So there is a lot of activity going on. There's 63 million people in a decision-making position on LinkedIn. So that means your future boss or the person that will decide to hire you is probably there, okay? Let's see what else. There are 200 million open job listings. 20 million open job listings on LinkedIn. And in the US, there's 20,000 companies using LinkedIn to recruit. That may not be relevant to you guys over in Rome, but that just goes to show you how much opportunities are out there. And one of my favorite stats is that 94% of recruiters use LinkedIn to search for candidates. 94%. I'm not quite sure what the other 6% are doing, but 94% of recruiters go straight to LinkedIn when they want to hire someone. So that means what? You need to be there if you're in the market for a job. Some career experts would argue that if you're not on LinkedIn, you don't exist. So if you're not on LinkedIn, get on LinkedIn. And that's the bare minimum. To be there is a bare minimum. And I'm going to show you today how to be there, have a strong profile, and how to build your visibility to actually get something out of it. All right, so let's talk about how LinkedIn works for a second. Excuse me. A lot of people don't understand how it all works, right? So every time you see someone on LinkedIn, there's usually a little number like first, second, third next to their name. Have you guys ever noticed that? And I like to be interactive. So, talk to me in the chat. If there's questions, Christina, maybe you want to interrupt me so I can answer, that's fine. I'm good with that. I don't like to just talk.
No problem. I will just monitor the chat box. So just go ahead and we can take also the questions after. Thank you.
I appreciate that. Okay, so first degree just means that these are people that are directly connected to you. You have either sent them an invitation to connect, or they've sent you an invitation to connect, and you guys agree to connect directly. That's what the first means. So I'm connected with Christina. She's connected with me. We are each other's first tier, first degree connection. The second degree connection is where if I'm connected to Christina and Christina is connected to Olympia, for example, I'm not connected to Olympia. Olympia is my second tier, second degree connection, okay? And then the third is if someone's connected to Olympia and I'm not connected to that person, then that would be my third tier connection. And that is what makes up your network, okay? So your network is going to be different based on who you're connected with. So I always say your LinkedIn is only as good as your network, meaning the people you're connected to and who they are connected to. Because anything you do on LinkedIn, it's going to do it based on your specific network, okay? Your first, second, and third degree people. Any person outside of that are considered out of your network, outside of your network, okay? So if you've ever stumbled across a page and you kind of like can't connect with them and there's no option to connect, it's because LinkedIn wants you to connect with people you already know. We'll talk about that in a second. But another way to get people in your network is through groups. Now, LinkedIn used to have a very strong group function. It was active, there was a lot going on, you can make real connections in there. And then I think after the merger with Microsoft, groups really took a dive. So there's not a whole lot in terms of real good interactions happening on LinkedIn groups. But the value of still joining those groups is because then all the people in those groups become a part of your network as well. So this is great if you think about it strategically. If you're in the market for, I heard someone say they're a marketing expert, right? So let's say, taking that example, you're in marketing and you join like 3 or 4 marketing groups. Now you're going to be connected with everyone, or you're not connected, you're in the network. Everyone that are in those groups. So now your visibility grows, your reach expands because they fall now within your network. You can't do a whole lot with people that fall outside of your network. So this is why this is important to know, because what people like to tend to do is they just want to connect with people they already know, right? Well, I don't know that person, so why do you want to connect? I don't know you. I'm not going to connect. But you're not expanding your reach when you do that, right? LinkedIn is a networking site. So when you network, the point is to meet new people. The more new people you meet and the more people you connect with, the bigger your network, the bigger your reach, the more your visibility grows. Okay, so let's keep that in mind as we kind of walk through the rest of this training today. So I said before that LinkedIn wants you to connect with people you already know, because it was built on the premise of this should be a reflection of your real world network. So that's why typically when you, and I don't see this a lot anymore, but years ago, I saw it a lot. Every time you connect with someone, you had to pick how you know this person. And if you said, I don't know this person, they'd be like, well, we're not going to send this connection request because you don't know this person, right? So LinkedIn wants you to know the people that you're connected with. They want it to be a reflection of your real world connections. And so I get it, but at the same time, it kind of defeats the purpose of what we're talking about in terms of networking. You built a site to network, and then you say, well, if you don't know the person, you can't connect. So a lot of times you're going to need to really make sure that somehow, some way, you are connected with the person. And that's why they won't show you people that much that's outside, because if you're in the network, that means you're probably somehow connected. Okay, so hopefully this all starting to make sense. Now, when you do things like search, for example, if I wanted to do a search, and we're going to do a live search later if we have time, Christina, I want to do a live kind of demonstration of how the advanced search features work and some things you can do. But if you were to search, let's say, you want to search for someone, or you want to search for some hashtags, or you want to search for, I don't know, an article or whatever, your results are going to be different from every single other person on here. Why? Because your results are only going to be based on your network. So your results are always going to be individualized, again, based on who you know and who falls within your network. You can put in the exact same search features. You're always going to get a totally different thing versus someone else. So it's not like Google where you put in a search and everybody gets the same results. It doesn't work like that. Okay, so again, if you're searching for people and you want to connect with folks and your network is smaller, you're not going to get as many results. So keep that in mind again as we keep moving forward. We already talked about bigger the network, bigger the visibility, more reach. And then another thing is LinkedIn wants you to have a complete profile because it will then allow you more opportunities. There's some stats that LinkedIn has put out about profile completeness, which again, we're going to go through in a second. So I just want to show you some profile secrets, some things that are really going to help you to create a really nice, compelling profile that's going to turn heads, right? All-star status. This is so important because LinkedIn uses your status in terms of how complete your profile is to kind of dictate how you show up in other people's search results. So as your profile strength increases, in other words, the more information you have completed in there, the higher your discoverability on LinkedIn. Okay, and we're going to go through that in a second. Another thing that's going to be important is there's 4 components of a strong profile. Okay, because it's one thing to be there, right? Like we said, being there is like the prerequisite, but now you have to have a strong presence. So your profile needs to be strong. And I'm going to show you some 4 components of a really strong profile so that if someone does stumble across your profile, they're interested, they're intrigued, and they want to learn more about you. And then I'm going to talk about the secret to getting found. Remember that 94% of recruiters use LinkedIn? You want them to find you because they're going to be trying to find you to hire you for whatever job you're looking for. And so I'll talk a lot about the secret to how you can start showing up in those results. And part 1 is to have a bigger network. Okay, so let's dive into the all-star status. All-star status pretty much means, according to LinkedIn, you have ticked off all the boxes that they want you to have what they consider a complete profile. These 7 things are what they're looking for. So you need to have some type of education listed. They want at least 5 skills listed. They want you to have an industry and a location listed, a current position, 2 past positions, a profile picture, and at least 50 connections. Once you have these 7 things, you're now all-star status. This is the secret. This is what you need to do. Then your discoverability, as they call it, goes way up. Meaning when those 94% of recruiters start searching, you'll start showing up higher in their search results. Everybody with me? Okay, thank you. Okay, so let me give you a few stats, okay? Because when I say boost your discoverability, these are things that LinkedIn has publicly said about having an all-star status. Members with a profile photo, which is one of the requirements, receive up to 21 times more profile views and 9 times more connection requests. So if you don't have a picture, if you have that stupid little gray silhouette, stop the madness and get a real picture. Put your real picture there. Because remember, LinkedIn is your personal profile. It's attached to you, the individual. So we want to know who you are. So get a nice headshot, take a nice selfie, whatever you need, but really make sure that you have a picture there versus no picture at all. Okay. Here's another thing. Members with at least 5 skills are 27 times more likely to be discovered in searches by recruiters. 27 times. This is coming straight from LinkedIn, right? So make sure you have skills in there. You can have up to 50 skills, 50. But they're saying only 5 will get you what you need. I say try to hit 50. At a minimum, 25 is my suggestion. Members with current positions are discovered up to 16 times more in recruiter searches. Now, this is tricky because a lot of us are out of work, have been laid off, have been furloughed. So like, what do you do? Because you want to be still found. There's a few things you could do to still have a current position listed in your profile. One is not something that I love, but some people do it, is putting open to new opportunities as your job title. And then putting, things like, I'm looking for da 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 job, blah, blah, blah. That's one way. I would prefer to you to actually fill it with something, right? So you saying I'm open to opportunities is basically saying, hey, I need a job. Please help me. I need a job. And it kind of gives off a desperation kind of vibe. Even if you're desperate, you shouldn't come off desperate, right? And so for me, I'm not, that's not my favorite way to do it, but a lot of people do it that way. And, whether it works for them or not, that's debatable. The way that I would prefer you to do it is to list what you've been actually doing. So hopefully you've been somehow volunteering your time. Maybe you've been taking a course, right? Maybe you've been doing some consulting things on the side. Put that as your current position instead. So, you could put your job title as something like student or full-time student or taking certification or something, and then list what you've been doing, what you've been learning, throwing in some keywords in there and that type of thing. We'll talk about keywords also in here a little bit later as well. But try to make sure you have something, even if you're not actively working full-time somewhere, try to have a current position listed just to keep your discoverability up. Including the city where you're based makes you stand out up to 23 times in searches. So all these little things are really, really impactful to your profile.
Melanie, can I have a question in the meantime? In the chat box, Elizabeth is asking about the unconscious bias regarding the profile picture. So what would you suggest to avoid those type of prejudices when somebody is looking at your picture? So what do you think the best approach is to follow?
Yes. Here's the thing about that. If they're going to be biased, they're going to be biased. There's not a whole lot that we can do about that, right? So if you don't have a picture and then you show up in the interview as you are, and they're biased, I mean, that's kind of unavoidable. And if that's the case, and they really are biased against you and they don't really want you to work there, then honestly, is that really the job you want, the company you want to work with? You know what I mean? It kind of boils down to that. Yes, you can try to hide as much as you to kind of mask your identity, just to get in the door. But when you get in the door, are those biases still going to come up? Probably, if they were coming up before anyway. So there's no way to really combat that, unfortunately. More companies need to start doing more of those type of diversity, inclusion trainings and bias trainings and things like that. But for me, as a career empowerment coach, I'm not going to tell you do not show your face online, because you are who you are. You need to show up as who you are and be proud of who you are and showcase your value and walk into the interview like it's either you want me to help you because I have the skills to do so, or you're going to pay attention to the color of my skin or my hijab or whatever I have and miss out on what I'm offering you.
Okay, thank you. And the other question was around the green circle, like you can apply a green circle, like looking for a job or open for job. What about that? Don't you think it looks like, it's a good or bad to put that on?
That is also very debatable. Oh my gosh, there is so many back and forth in our career industry. Like, it's great. And it's like, no, it's not, right? So here's the thing. LinkedIn put out some stats saying that the people who had that got more opportunities. So on their end, they're saying it's working. from my standpoint, and some of my clients have said this to me as well, like I thought about putting it, but I felt like it screamed, I need a job, hire me now, versus I have something to offer. So I think it depends on the person and their priorities, right? So if they're feeling like it could be helpful, why not try it, right? I don't think it's necessarily going to hurt per se, because I don't think a recruiter would look at that and be like, oh, they're looking, so I don't want that. If you have the skills, you have the skills, right? So for me, I'm still honestly on the fence about it. I haven't really seen enough argument on either side. So verdict is still out in for me personally, but there are some career experts that are very, adamant on, no, don't do that. I would not advise my clients to do it because of the whole desperation thing. And then the other part of it too is, if you are open, some recruiters want to know that you're open. So to me, it could be helpful. So I would say do it without, and then put it on and try it and just see if there's a difference when you actually do it. Hopefully that was helpful.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so this is what the all-star status, that profile strength meter looks like. So your goal is to fill it all the way up. That's pretty much what it would look like. And the thing about it too is LinkedIn is always going to prompt you to do things to make sure you're filling this information. So when you log in, it's always saying, hey, add some skills. Hey, add a current job. Hey, add some education, right? It's always prompting you. So this is definitely easy to do to get all-star status. All right, so let's move into the actual profile itself. What are some strong, what does a strong profile look like, right? Definitely you need to have a picture. We talked about that already. You need to have a unique keyword-rich headline. We're gonna dive into each of these. You need to have an intriguing summary, which is also called the about section. And then your experience needs to be value-based. We're gonna dig into each of these momentarily. But overall, you also want to make sure that everything is done in a humanized voice. Some profiles sound just like the resume. And for me, I feel like the resume has like a kind of detached, cold vibe to it. And you're kind of presenting yourself as a candidate for this type of job. Where LinkedIn allows you to dig a little deeper and present yourself as a real person, right? So it's okay to use I, my, we, our on LinkedIn, and to dig deeper into who you are in terms of maybe what you're passionate about, maybe what's your leadership style, maybe tell some stories that were maybe pivotal points in your career. Things like that you can do on LinkedIn and not necessarily do on a resume. And so you definitely want to make sure you have that human voice, because now recruiters and hiring managers, employers in general, have realized that the resume alone is not really enough to really truly determine if a candidate is going to be a good fit or not. And so now they're looking at your social profiles, LinkedIn for sure, your Facebook, right? All of these things come together to help determine, should we call this person? Should we hire this person or not? And so if you're giving them things to help your case, that's going to be beneficial to you. And if you're not, you're missing an opportunity to really sell yourself on a deeper level, because that cultural fit now is a big thing as well. So the resume is like, yeah, I have the skills. And the LinkedIn is like, well, who are you? Right? As a person. So that's also where the picture comes into play. And maybe you can talk about some of your values, and then they'll know, oh, great, this person loves, recognition or whatever. And we're great at recognition. So that type of thing, some of your core values can come through so that the company cultural fit will play a bigger part. So let's move on. Profile picture. Let's not do this. I love this picture because it's so obviously inappropriate. Clearly we're all professional women here. We would not do such a thing. I mean, he's at the beach with beer cans acting like he's on the phone. Like, really, for LinkedIn? No, sir. I'm not doing that. But anyway, remember 21 times more profile views and 9 times more connection requests with a picture. But you want to have a good picture, like this picture. Headshot, very nice, smiling. Profile picture is very, very important. You want to have a good keyword-rich headline. Let's talk about the headline for a second, because the headline follows you everywhere, right? So when you make a comment, if you show up on a search, it's going to be your picture and your headline, always, everywhere. And that's the first impression people are getting from you on LinkedIn. So have a great picture, but then your headline needs to be strong. A few different reasons why. Reason number one, if you do start showing up in search results, is your headline going to be eye-catching enough to make that person click on you versus your competition, right? Just like in Google, when you search for something, you're looking for something that's going to make you want to click. So what is going to make them want to click on you? These are a few examples of how you can create or formulate your headline. The main thing is this: keywords. Keywords meaning job titles. Because the number one thing recruiters are searching for are job titles. Okay, so that needs to be in there. So let's take the first example, which is project manager. If you're a project manager and I'm a recruiter and I search project manager, maybe I put, Rome, Italy. I'm going to get thousands of project managers. And if all of them just say project manager, project manager, project manager, project manager, what's the only differentiator? The picture. Because that's all they get. That's all they could see in their search results. So why not make the differentiator the headline so they won't have to default to how you look? Is that making sense? Make sure that you somehow are using that 140 characters to its advantage. I love to add in some type of unique value, okay? Because that's what's going to help you stand out. And so, of course, you want to have that job title, but then what makes you different or unique or special, right? And so these are some of the examples. So for example, the third one is accountant. And it just says, uncovering discrepancies that avoid millions in erroneous costs. Yeah, well, maybe you could do that for us too. Let me click here. What's going on with you, ma'am? Right? It's kind of interesting and intriguing. It pulls you in. You understand what they do. Don't get too fancy. There's some out there that's like corporate ninja. Like, what does that mean? Right? So keep it so that people understand what you do, while you can still be clever, but please make it understandable for people to know exactly what you do in a compelling and interesting way while showcasing your value, okay? So let's look at that. Which one is it? Keyword. This one, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The fifth one, the sales manager / account executive. Keywords in terms of job titles, and then specializing in more keywords. Sales training, territory management, business development. You see? So that's kind of like this person's expertise, but it's still keyword based, and it helps them to really niche down because sales is very broad. So hopefully this is helpful. Any questions about the headline? All right. Let's move into the summary.
Yeah.
You good?
Yes, absolutely. Just one question around the city in terms of the location where you live. So what would you suggest to put in the city where you desire to find the job or the city where you live effectively? So or eventually in case of an international aspiration for a candidate, what would be the best strategy to utilize?
So I would recommend putting where you want to be, right? Only because if a recruiter, hiring manager, whoever is searching through and they're putting in these parameters, you're never gonna get seen because you're not in that locale, you're not in that area. So for that reason, I would say put where you want to be. Then at the same time, when they call you up and they think you're there, you gotta have to like talk about why you right. You gotta have your story together, because you don't want to look like a liar and being deceitful. And so you could say, well, I do plan on moving there, and so I wanted to focus my efforts there, which is why I changed my location to there. You could say something like that. But if you're just hanging out and you're like, well, hopefully I get something over there, and they call you and they ask, well, are you not here? I lied, right? So make sure you have that story together and that your strategy together.
Okay. Okay, that's great. The other question was around the headline. If in case of a career change, what would be more successful headline?
A career change, that's a great one. You can throw the word aspiring before it. You're done.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so your summary. What you want to do here is portray, again, always your value. What are you offering in terms of what is the benefit of what you do for a company or corporation, right? Again, we talked about first person, I, me, my. Keywords are very important. We're going to dig deeper into keywords in a bit. And I already said this, dig deeper into who you are and that type of thing. The other thing I want to point out is that the first few words or the first 2 lines are important, because now by default, LinkedIn only shows those first few, that first sentence or 2, sentence and a half-ish. You want to capture their attention so they can hit that learn more, see more, read more, whatever the button is, to expand it. Okay, so keep that in mind when you're making your summary. This is a quick example. It says, my unique value is being able to attack a problem with clarity. I make decisions based on data, facts, research, and most importantly, practicality. Oh, okay, interesting. Tell me more, right? And so it goes into more about the leadership style, the belief system, and then talking about her expertise. So those are some keywords there, where she says, I specialize in initiation, planning, design, execution. Those are all keywords for project management and things like that. And then she brings some passion in. I love what I do, da 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 da. And then she gives the receipts. In other words, the accomplishments to show that she is good at what she does. And so these 4 little bullets are talking about in numbers. Please add numbers if at all possible. It says, for example, led teams of 15 to boost productivity and overall performance. Created $1 million in additional revenue, da 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 da. Improved processes 10%. So like, oh, okay, you're really doing something that is beneficial to our business. And so those are the type of things I want you to sprinkle into your about section or your summary, because again, this is you as a person more than you as a candidate. So some of these things you wouldn't really put in a resume, right? But here you have the flexibility. You have 2,000 characters here to talk more about you as a real person. Okay, so that was just a quick example. This is not a great example, and I just wanted to show this in comparison. And I've seen a lot of profiles where I have this little paragraph and we're done. And it's like, what did I just say? Oh, you just copied and pasted your resume summary. That's what you just did, right? That's all you did. And this is not really great, because I don't know more about this person on a deeper level. On LinkedIn, you want to go just another layer deeper. You don't want to go too deep, right? But just another layer deeper into who you are. And there's a typo in there as well. So just an example of what not to do, or, just showing you the areas of opportunity that a lot of people have on LinkedIn where most people do. And you want to stand out. Let's talk about your experience for a second. Do not copy and paste your resume. Do not copy and paste your resume into your LinkedIn in your experience section. Why? Well, I just read it in your resume. So if I'm on LinkedIn, I'm interested. I just read the exact same thing, and vice versa. If I'm on LinkedIn, I just read it, and then I go to your resume and it's the exact same thing. It's like, I just read this. So that's not to say it's going to be totally different. Of course, it has to be the same information. But again, you change it to first person, you switch some words around a little bit, make it sound like it's something different where you're telling the same story, okay? You're still going to have those accomplishments bullets, but you're going to use first person. So for example, in this role, I handle a caseload of blah, blah, blah. You see the difference versus a resume that would probably start with, you know, handle caseload of da, da, da. See what I mean? So it just brings more life to your experience. The other thing you may notice here is on the job titles, I added some keywords there. I'm going to talk about keywords like I keep saying in a second, a little later. But keywords are, let me stop. Job titles are a great place to put keywords because LinkedIn algorithms like to see the right keywords in those job titles. So you have 100 characters on your job title to kind of add some things to it. So you have your job title and then you add some of the main job functions that can count as keywords to help boost your discoverability. Okay, want to keep it brief. Here's the thing, because usually on LinkedIn, people are looking at it on a screen. No one's printing out a LinkedIn profile, right? So screens, tablets, iPhones, Android phones, you want to keep it easy on the eyes. So not too much text, keep everything a space in between, right? I would say 5, even this, looking at this, 5 lines, that's kind of a lot too. So I would probably no more than 2 or 3 lines together on a LinkedIn because you want it to be easy to read, easy to flow, easily digested by recruiters. Just another example, right? I was selected to support a product portfolio across da 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 da. A large component of this position involved directing da 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 da. So it's like a story, and then of course the bullets with numbers, quantifiable achievements. Somebody writing on the screen? Did anybody else see that?
Kind of, yeah, something. Yeah, yeah. It was like a pointer. Yeah, you do have the pointer.
I'm not pointing though. Someone else is pointing.
Okay, no.
Someone else is pointing. Was that a question?
I have a question from somebody in terms of the headline. So what would you suggest for students? So headline and keywords for students, basically.
It would be the same pretty much. So in terms of being a student, I'm presuming a college student, like in university?
Yeah, university or college student, yeah.
So you could, I mean, I don't want you to put college student. I've seen that. I don't like that. Again, aspiring, whatever your major is, you know, passionate about whatever you want to get into, that type of thing would work for a college student. Hopefully that was helpful.
Yes, thank you.
I don't know who's marking this up.
I think it's you.
It's not, I'm not. Okay. Another quick thing I wanted to throw in here about the profile is don't miss out on this prime real estate, which is your banner. LinkedIn rollout banners. I want to say more, maybe a year and a half ago, 2 years maybe. Well, maybe longer. But this is great to make your profile pop, right? So you really look like you got it together if you have this banner behind you. So this, you know, this is easily created in a website called canva.com. I do it for my clients. I created both of these, and basically you could put words on it or not. Somebody's scribbling again, but you can put your name on it and then what you do or not. You could put just what you do and maybe your expertise. You could just put a nice picture just without any words. You could maybe even, I've seen people put little slow, like part of their headline. Remember we talked about the accountant, like uncovering the discrepancies, that you could throw that on the bottom, that type of thing to showcase your value, just reiterate your brand, that type of thing is really, really a nice touch to add on LinkedIn. So I just wanted to add that in here. All right, so let's talk about the secret to getting found, which is dun, 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 Keyword optimization. So pretty much, like I said in the beginning, 94% of recruiters go to LinkedIn to find candidates. What I mean by that is 94% of recruiters go to LinkedIn and search for candidates, meaning they're using specific keywords to try to pull up viable candidates for the jobs that they have. So that is like the number one secret to getting found, is to have those keywords sprinkled throughout your profile, optimizing it. So let me show you what keywords are. Here's some samples, okay? Keywords are not soft skills. So keywords are not team player, strong communications, dynamic. Those are not keywords. No one, as a recruiter, is going to go into LinkedIn and search team leader, manager, management for candidates. They're not going to do that. They're going to be putting in specific job specific verbiage, skills, hard skills that they need to fill this role. So here's some examples. Marketing, because I heard someone say marketing in the beginning, right? The word marketing better be all over your profile if you're in marketing. There's so many different aspects to marketing, but maybe you specialize in a certain one. And if they want that role to specialize in that certain one or two areas, maybe digital marketing. Digital marketing could include social media marketing, email marketing, right? Blogs, SEO, all that falls under digital. You have to understand what these jobs are looking for, right? So once you know what your jobs, your targeted jobs are looking for, then you'll know how to pick the keywords and sprinkle them throughout your profile. Let me see one thing for a second. Okay. Here's where to find keywords. I don't think I put that slide in here. Job descriptions, other LinkedIn profiles of people in those positions. You could cheat. Yes, you could cheat and steal keywords. That's okay. And then you could use Google to just search marketing keywords and see what pops up. Okay, but job descriptions are going to be your best bet, because guess what? That's what, when you apply, that's what the, you know, the established skills that they want have already been defined in that job description. So that's going to be the best bet for the type of jobs you want. Did you have a question, Christina?
Not so far. I think, yeah, we just answered the question in the meantime in terms of the software that you suggested. Then we also have another keywords related question in terms of the industry, not normal hard skills. So what about those particular skills, let's say?
What do you mean, like non-hard skills, like
adding those in or not?
You
like
can,
hard skills, like very industry specific skills.
yeah.
I think somebody has the pointer on the screen, so if you can just probably somebody else, it's not Melanie. We just discovered there is a mystery on the course, so somebody has a pointer on the screen, please. So if you can just move a little bit on the board, thank you.
So I think your question was, should you add the non-hard skills, like the soft skills? Should you still add them?
Yes, both, like particular hard skills and soft skills on the previous screen that you showed us.
Yes. So in terms of getting found, you need those hard skills, but that doesn't mean you don't still also add the soft skills. Yes, you can still add that stuff, but make sure you have these things as a priority. Okay. So where do you put these keywords? There's 5 main areas you want to make sure those keywords are, to, again, make sure your discoverability stays up. Headline, we talked about that already. Your summary, that about section, right? Your titles, job titles, past titles, and then there's a skills and endorsement section. That's, you can have up to 50 skills. So there should be no shortage of keywords on your profile just based on the skills section alone. You can get that done. Okay, so those are the 5 main areas you want to make sure you sprinkle all your keywords. Any other questions about keywords before we move on? All good? Already, right on?
Yep, all good.
Perfect. So now we talked about the actual profile itself. Having that strong profile, getting your discoverability up, using the good keywords, having a good picture, that is the second step. So the first step is being there. The second step is having a strong profile. And now this step is about growing your network. Because again, as we talked about in the very beginning, you want to make sure that you're expanding your reach and building that visibility. So I'm going to give you just a few things about how you can do that. So the first thing is you can import your contacts, that email, via email. This is a quick, easy way for you to just get a bunch of people that you already know. You already know them because they're in your email. So what it is if you go to your network to manage your network, there's a prompt usually on the left side that says something about import address book. Okay, you can go there, type in your email address and a password, because what you're going to do is allow LinkedIn to go into your email address book, pull everybody that you have emailed, and send them an invitation to connect on LinkedIn. You could do this for several email accounts. I know I have 1 million email accounts, and let it do that, because that's a quick, easy way to get people you know. These are not strangers. You emailed them, you corresponded with them via email before. And so that's a quick, easy way to just grow your network pretty fast. Okay. Once you do that, you can unclick people if you don't want to send them requests. It's not automatic. You can, there's a chance for you to uncheck people or check people or whatnot. But it's, again, great. It's great, easy. The other thing is to browse the people you may know. LinkedIn goes on and on and on forever with people you may know. What it's doing is pulling people that they think you should know because you're connected with certain other people, right? Browse that. Take 5 minutes every day and browse that. And, oh, I know her. Connect. Oh, I think I know her. Connect. Oh, I remember her from connect, right? And then again, these are people you know. So it's easier to kind of connect with them because, oh yeah, I remember you. I know you from wherever. Okay. And then the other thing too is to use advanced search feature. Good. We're going to do a live. Do we have time? What time is it?
We have still like minutes left, but that's fine. Absolutely. You can run over, Melanie.
Okay, cool. So using the advanced search feature is a powerful way to find people to grow this network of yours. Because yes, I am very much in favor of you connecting with whoever, because in my opinion, you're gaining their network and you just never know where people will come from, where your next opportunity is going to arise from. So I'm like, connect, right? Why? Is it going to hurt you to connect? Now, I will say a lot of times people are spamming, trying to sell you stuff. That is rampant on LinkedIn. Okay. So if you are weary about that, then you may not want to connect with everybody. For me, it doesn't bother me. I just delete their message and keep it moving because I want their network. That's how I look at it. But you may want to be more particular. There is a school of thought that you do want to know your people, and you don't want it to get too enormous, because then you won't have true meaningful connections with people on LinkedIn. So that's another way to do it. I am not opposed to that either. That's just not the way I like to do it. But if you want to have a much closer relationship with the people you connect with, and you do want to know them and get to know them and not just have all these people, great, do it that way. And then you can nurture them and be more strategic in that way. That's a great strategy as well. So just kind of know what you want to achieve, and you can map out a plan on how you want to get there in terms of how you're going to continue to grow your network on LinkedIn. So let's do this live demonstration. Let's see. Okay, hold on. I got it. Give me.
In the meantime, maybe I ask a question, Melanie, that came up, is related to the skills, going back to that point. What is the role of the skills that I add as my skills into LinkedIn respect to those where I get the endorsement for. So if my skills get endorsement, are those ranked higher basically?
You mean in the search?
Yeah, no, if other people are endorsing me for those skills, sometimes LinkedIn is popping up like you can endorse skills of these or that particular individual.
Yeah, that's the endorsements. I don't think they weigh much in terms of the algorithm and the searchability and stuff. That's more like social proof in terms of, oh, people know that you could do this. And when the more endorsements you have, the more trust that people can put in, like, oh yeah, maybe she does know about this thing. But in terms of like the search, I don't think that it impacts the search that much. I'll look into that. That's a good question though.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so where did my window go? Here we go. Okay, can you guys see my LinkedIn profile?
Yes, we do now, yeah.
So I'm gonna go to a quick search. Can I get an example? Christina, maybe you can check.
Absolutely, yeah.
Can you tell me a job that someone is looking for, like a job title?
I think a marketing specialist, maybe.
And is there a specific company maybe that person may be targeting?
You can utilize my company, actually. You can use also Kantar, where I work for. It's a marketing company. And
So that's for me.
Kantar, N like Naples.
Oh.
T, yes, market research company. A, Kantar. Yeah, here you have the second one. Yeah, you can say like a market research company. So we typically look for researchers, marketing analysts.
And so as a marketing specialist, who would that person report to? Would it be like a director of marketing?
Yes.
Okay. So let's say, guys, as an example, we wanted to find a director of marketing at that company. So I'm going to search director of marketing in people. Okay. I'm going to go to more filters, and I want director of marketing, not communications, just marketing. And I want, is this in Rome?
It's in US. Even in US, you can utilize, I think.
Okay. Well, I'll put Rome.
Okay.
Is there a location somewhere in Rome?
Well, it's a very small one, so you can use it. Also Milan, maybe. Yeah.
I'll do that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I want the company to be this company.
Yeah.
I got 12 results.
Oh, good.
I don't know a whole lot of people in Italy or in Milan, but that's how specific we got. We wanted a director of marketing at this specific company in this specific location. So out of these, if I was looking for this job in Milan, I could reach out to all these people, these 12 people, because they all work at this company in the marketing department. Hi, I just wanted to reach out because I see you work at Kantar. I am so impressed with your work history. I see you've been there for a while. Do you have 5 minutes? I would love to learn more about your experience there because I'm looking into getting a position at your company. See what happens. I would do all 12 of these people. Well, maybe not all at once. Do like 3, because they're gonna be like pinging each other. Hey, did you see this lady? Yeah, she emailed me too. Right? Don't do that. Don't be that person. But the point is, LinkedIn has very advanced search features. And I came up with 12, but maybe some of you, if you do this same search, would get way more because your network is probably full of more people in that geographic area. Is this making sense?
Yes. I have a question on the chat box from Viviane about particular rules. Like there are people defining themselves like data evangelist, people motivator, or inspiring people. So what do you think about this a little bit more particular job titles or descriptions, headlines?
Like I said before, make sure people understand what you're doing. That's the first thing. And the second thing is understand your audience. Like, who do you even want to see that and say, oh, wow, like, will they appreciate that? You know what I mean? So for example, if you're in the market for a job, a recruiter doesn't care about that fancy stuff. They are, what's the job title? Do you have the experience? We're done, right? But if you're more like trying to market yourself as maybe a consultant or maybe a speaker or someone who does things kind of on their own path, and you're not necessarily looking for like a corporate job, because a corporate, there's a box, right? Most times there's a box. They want you to put yourself in this box, call yourself what they call it, and you're done. But if your targeted audience appreciates that extra je ne sais quoi, right? Then do it. But if you're gonna put that stuff and then try to apply, people are gonna be like, the recruiters are gonna be like, I don't get it. Right? So it's just a matter of understanding your audience.
Okay, there is another question in terms of the search that you just did. Do you think is like reaching out to people is something that depends from the culture, from the country where you are based? So do you think it's more of a cultural dependent way on reaching out to people, or do you think it's more of the platform itself? So it's really the way of how LinkedIn works, and it's almost like an international way of practice basically nowadays. So because sometimes people from different cultures have kind of fear of reaching out to people. They think it's really aggressive, or they think they are just too shy or reaching out to people who they don't know. So what do you think about that? Would you encourage that? I think what people just make a push.
The fear is international across the globe, right? Because just people. I think the cultural differences would be what you say in the message, how you say things. So the example I gave is a very American, straightforward way of doing it. But maybe your culture over there, maybe in Italy, is a little more friendly. Because I guess you guys are more friendly people, more friendly, right? You guys greet each other with kisses. We don't really do that too much here. So maybe you want to be more warm in the first interaction. I don't think it's a matter of sending the message or not. I think it's more about sending the right message, because LinkedIn is for that. I get people all over the globe trying to sell me stuff. They are all like, I got some girl sending me a message video. Hey, Melanie, with her accent. I'm like, where are you from? You know, they're all over. So I don't think it's about sending the message. I think it's about how you send the message, what you say in that first interaction that will make or break, you know, what happens. But the fear is global.
Okay, thank you.
Of course, you're welcome. Okay, so was there any other questions?
If you want, please just speak up, because I'm reading out the chat box questions, but if you have a question, just go ahead. Okay.
Go back. I have like two more things I wanted to talk about very briefly.
Yeah, I have a quick question, Melanie, if you allow me so. What about, I mean, do you encourage us or a professional to like, comment, or share a post that would reflect your values, you know? I mean, instead of not saying anything and just, you know, an onlooker on LinkedIn. What is the, I know, special rules of engagement, if you have tips on that?
So that was my last slide.
So okay.
How to be kind of like how to yeah. Okay, so grow your network, continued. So In addition to the ways we talked about where you could actually find real people and connect with them one-on-one, you know, the game is to always be making connections, always be trying to grow, always be trying to connect with new people, right? Make sure you connect with a note. Don't just connect if you don't know the person. Just say, hey, this is why I'm connecting. Try to find a commonality and try to find a way to compliment them. So I think in my example, I said something like, oh, I'm so impressed with your work history or something like that, right? So keep it about them. Make them feel special. Make them feel good that you're interested in learning about them, right? Because it's, you don't want to come off like you just, I need a job. Can you help me? You don't want to come off that way because it's like, I don't know you, person. No, I'm not gonna help you. I don't know who you are. And so you definitely want to make sure that you find some common ground. You find a reason to why you want to connect with them that is kind of centered around them. And then after you start building that relationship, then you can start, digging into, hey, do you have a job opening? That type of thing. So just be mindful of how you connect, what you say, and make sure that somehow they can make a connection, because generally people are very busy. And if they get a random request from someone they don't know, they're not going to be as open to responding and giving up time if it sounds like it's just, I need a favor, I need help, right? They want to feel like, okay, you care about me in some capacity. How can I help you in return? So that's what I wanted to say about that. Now, in terms of the question that was being asked, you definitely want to be active on LinkedIn. So we talked about being there. Then we talked about having a strong profile. Then we talked about growing your network, but now it's about engaging as well, right? So engaging just simply means being active there. So if that means sharing content like blogs, LinkedIn has like its own internal blog platform where you could do long articles. That's a great place to share content. If you're really good at marketing, for example, you could give some marketing tips. You can gear it towards corporations, right? So if a marketing exec stumbles across it and they think it's great and groundbreaking, maybe they might contact you for, let's talk. I need your help with this because it sounds so intriguing, right? Put yourself out there. Don't be afraid to do that. Another thing is you also want to share insightful posts. You want to share posts that are going to be valuable. So there's a lot of right now, well, maybe died down or maybe not, but there was a lot of political posts on LinkedIn at one point this year. And it was war. I mean, I saw people say some very mean things on LinkedIn, and it's polarizing. And some people would say, keep politics off of LinkedIn. And some people are like, it's a part of, being in the corporate space. It affects us as a professional world. So why not talk about it? And so you just have to understand how, when you say things on LinkedIn, what is the purpose behind it, right? What are you trying to do? Are you trying to start conversation and get engagement on your post, right? So then, yeah, you would put something that would make people comment and talk, right? If you're wanting to share information because you think it's valuable so people can learn something, then you would put tips and different strategies or things that you've learned and that type of thing. If you want to inspire people, then you could talk about maybe your struggles and the things that work for you and how you overcame your struggles and encourage people, right? So it really depends on what you want to accomplish in terms of what you would post. Another thing that's going to be important, I think, is to share your perspective on things going on in your industry. Is keeping it as career specific as possible. I think it's the safest way. It's not the only way, but it's a safe way for you to share your expertise. So if something's happening in your industry, right? So I don't know, if you're in the wine industry, I don't know, did some of the, because of global warming, isn't something happening with the vineyards or something? So you could maybe talk about something like that. And give your perspective on it, because then that positions you as a thought leader, right? And so you definitely want to understand your purpose. Why am I posting right now? Am I in the market for a job? Okay. So how can I show that I'm really good at what I do to capture attention of people that may want to hire me? So you would take that approach. If you want to, I want to grow my following, then you could post something that is going to engage a lot of people. You can tag people in your post or in the comments of your post and say, what do you think about this? Tag them, and then they'll get engaged. They'll draw people into and then let me slow down. I'm too excited. You can tag people in your post and say, what do you think? Right? And then they will comment, and then other people will see them comment from their network, and then your visibility will go through the roof. You'll start to get connection requests as a result if your goal is to grow your network. So again, the point I'm trying to make is your strategy will depend on your goals on LinkedIn. Now, I have 25 comment challenge here because I challenge you guys to do 25 comments on LinkedIn every single day for the month of December, the rest of December. So that means on LinkedIn, go on there every day, scroll through and put a comment on someone's something 25 different times on LinkedIn. And then just kind of watch and see what happens. That's my challenge for you today. Very quick case study because I've been telling you a lot of stuff, and this is just a quick proof that it works, that I know what I'm talking about. This is a snippet from an email I got from a client. She was in accounting, she was a controller, and she wanted to level up. Her goal was to get to 100K. If you can read the second line, it says, I was actually recruited in the beginning of the month through LinkedIn, and I was offered a job for $20,000 more than what I'm currently making. Her keywords were on point because we worked together to get her branding. Her headline was on point. Her accomplishments were there because she didn't know how to do those things on her own. So with my help, we did it, and she got a new job at $20,000 more. It wasn't quite 100K yet, but 20,000 more, hey, we'll take it. So that is all I have for you today. I want to say thank you so much. If there's any additional questions, I can stick around for another maybe 10 minutes or so. We're definitely over, but I love this stuff. I enjoy it. I have fun. Hopefully you enjoyed it and learned something today that you can implement like now. That's the goal.
Absolutely, absolutely. We appreciate a lot. Thank you so much, Melanie. And for those who might want to join us to PWA, I just wanted to mention very quickly that you can drop an email to membership@pwarome.org, or just visit our website, www.pwarome.org. And I think just one question we have left, Melanie, if you are okay, is related to the job postings on LinkedIn. So sometimes I think Cynthia mentioned that sometimes she's not receiving response or having difficulty to see how those job posting lands when we apply to a job on LinkedIn. So is there any way to see or have a certain feedback on those?
When you apply using LinkedIn, you mean?
Yes, like easy apply or just apply for a job. So you got the email response that seems to be an automated response, but it seems like sometimes it lands like an unsuccessfully.
Yes. So the question is, how do you
measure, let's say, your success rates, or would you suggest to reach out the recruiter in those cases if they don't respond?
Understood. So there's a couple of things when you apply on LinkedIn. Sometimes you can see who posted the job, like the actual recruiter's name and face and headline will be there. You can click on them and ask specific questions and follow up, etc. That's going to depend on if the recruiter wanted it to be visible or not. They decide that. That's why some have it and some don't. So in those cases, yes, absolutely follow up. The second thing is, if you apply, easy apply, and use your LinkedIn profile to apply, they're going to see your full profile, and they're using that as your resume, right? So if it's not strong, it doesn't have the accomplishments, it doesn't have the right keywords, and your headline is in, you're not going to get a good response. So make sure those things are beefed up if you're going to be hitting that easy apply. And then if you're not hearing back, double check and see how your skills match up, because they're using skills very heavily on those to see how well you match up to pass it through or whatever. Sometimes, and I don't know if you have to have you may have to have the paid version to see your skills and how they match up. Because sometimes,
Yes, I think so. You have to have the upgraded version. Yeah.
yeah. So if you have that, you could see how your skills match up to the job, and that will tell you if you had a good shot or probably not. And then the third thing is, I definitely don't recommend applying that way. I would prefer you to actually apply with a resume.
Okay. I see. It's a little bit limiting, right?
Yes,
Your chances.
Profile should be a little more broad, because remember, we're talking about who you are in general as a real person. So when you use your application, it's not as strong and focused as a resume that you probably tailored and made sure everything was specific to that type of position. That's why I recommend doing it through a resume versus the LinkedIn.
Okay, I see. Thank you, Melanie. Thank you. A lot of thank you notes on the chat box, and it was really, really great. And thank you for dedicating us even more time than planned, scheduled. And this was a great session. So thank you so much, Melanie. And a huge hug from Rome for you in Florida. Thank you so much. And thank you all of the candidates and joiners and people who joined us tonight. Thank you so much.
Bye. Have a nice evening. Bye. See you then. See you next time.
See you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, Mel. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Melanie.